a lot of people are kind of stuck at the behavioral level. When people negotiate, when people try to solve a problem, resolve a conflict, they're going into, you shouldn't have done this. Or worse, they ask a question which is ambiguous, like, why did you do this? Now, and why is the most ambiguous question on planet Earth? Because try asking a child who comes home late or who's eating sugar, why did you do this? And find out the response you get. and that question triggers the same response even in adults. Because remember, when you say why, the person might respond, what is the purpose for doing this? The person may respond to it as, what is the intention for doing this? Or the person may respond to it as, what triggered you to do this? The person may respond to that as, what joy do you get from doing this? Because why is ambiguous, it's non-directional. It keeps it open. So people process why in so many different ways. And I think during this week, you're going to learn something called the Milton model, where we learn something called as cause effect, where in English language, there are certain words. In all languages, there are certain words where when you use those words to join two sentences, even if you join two sentences that doesn't make any sense, linguistically, it feels as if they're very logical. And words like because, so, and allow you to join sentences that even if they're not necessarily connected, like it makes you feel like as if it's making a lot of sense. And so the problem with why questions is your response is always a because. And because mostly precedes an excuse. It doesn't precede a high quality information. So when people try to resolve conflicts, when people try to understand deeper meaning of people, they either fight at the behavioral level or try to get deeper information, but they resort to wrong questions. The other way to resolve conflicts is you start thinking about what could be that person's intention. Now, sometimes you ask that person, but sometimes even you asking that to yourself opens up a deeper understanding of the people that you're dealing with. And I think the reframing is a great example of that. Yesterday you saw parts integration, and there's a part and there's another part, and mostly at the behavior level, they're conflicting. Do I quit my job or do I stay in my job? How can you achieve both? You can't achieve both. It's not possible. Do I eat or do I not eat? A part of me wants to sleep, a part of me does not want to sleep. How can you achieve both? You can't achieve both. But when you chunk it up to the intent, is there a useful intention to quit the job? Is there a useful intention to stay on the job? Now, you could achieve both the intentions. And that's why the cans come together, because you're satisfying both the intentions, not both the decisions. Was the intent behind one decision versus an intent behind another decision? And if you can get to the level of intention, then you can achieve and satisfy both. And I think what I have noticed is when people start doing reframing enough number of times, the focus shifts from the behavior to the intent. And when you're able to do that, your conversations with people will automatically and naturally be very effective. You understand where they come from, and you're able to direct better, you're able to lead better, resolve conflicts better, and so on. Because, and also for me, the fact that when you can step into the intent level and at the reframing, you're seeing, so if you think of reframing as, they went into a trance, so they got results, you're not going to learn anything. But if you realize in the reframing, you're addressing the intent, and thereby the problem resolved itself. It gives you a much deeper understanding of human communication and human behaviors and human responses. And then that overflows into the conversations you have with people.